Welcome guys back to another episode of Arsenal Transfer News Daily. We are back again with another episode. Just a quick announcement before we get into the video. From tomorrow the videos won't be that consistent because I'm getting a bit more busy now, so I won't have as much time to make the videos. So from now on I'll do it once every few days, and if there's a lot of news then I'll do it that day. But it's going to now be called Arsenal Transfer Update, which I will do just a lot of just a cover up of the transfer news, just a roundup, and that's how I'll be moving forward from now on up until the end of the transfer window, which is 1 month from now. So that's how we're going to be rolling. So let's get straight into today's video. Firstly, we're going to be talking about Haseem Aouar. Now, Haseem Aouar, he's someone we started getting linked to a few weeks ago, as I reported. Remember when I first reported this one about Haseem Aouar? There was a lot of hype around it, and first of all, I didn't actually believe this. And then talk started, going on. Apparently, Arsenal had made a bid for Guendouzi, and then personal terms have been agreed. That's one video I also made in that one as well. And it all seemed more and more true. And the way the story has progressed has been very fascinating. Because have talks intensified? I'm pretty sure they have, because I said a few weeks ago that personal terms have been agreed, but there's a report coming out now that the personal terms have been agreed. So maybe they have already been agreed in advance, and it's just agreeing terms with Lyon to try and sign the player. Now, again, who are actually in the race? Because some reports saying City aren't in the race, are in the race, Juventus are in the race, not in the race. Because a few weeks ago there were reports coming out that Juventus had already basically agreed a deal to sign Haseem Aouar, but now reports suggesting that they're not even in the race. But Arsenal are the one club throughout this story that have always been consistent in their interest, which is why I think we'll be the ones that could sign him, and I think we are the favourites to sign him this summer. But what I will say is Arsenal are haggling over the fee, haggling over the bid. Man City, what happens with them is they'll come in, they'll ask for the price, Lyon will say 60 million or whatever, and then City will be like, we'll pay it, and then you probably go to City because obviously they're a better Premier League side to us. No matter how much Haseem Aouar, we convince Haseem Aouar to come to us. If City come in, I'm pretty sure he's going to choose City over us, unless Mikel Arteta and Edu pull one out of the bag and somehow try and convince him to join Arsenal instead of Man City. So it's one of those, and it would be very interesting, I could say that, and do I think, a lot of people telling me in the comment section, will we sign him, what I'll say is it's in the balance. This one is in the balance, and I think we could get it done, but we need to start shipping out a lot of our players. A lot of people telling me, oh, we got a lot of cash reserves in the bank, why can't we just pull that out? We're playing, yes, we have that, but you don't want to, for some reason we're not going to spend that. We don't know the ins and outs of the club, so we can't really say that we have to be using the 200 million that's in our reserves. So it looks like we have to sell players before we can buy. This is evident in what we are trying to do. We are actively trying to sell the likes of Lucas Torreira, the likes of Guendouzi, the likes of maybe Bellerin, maybe Socrates, Callum Chambers, Rob Holding, all who have been linked with moves away from the club, all been offered to those clubs, so we can get them off the books, so we can afford deals for Thomas Partey and Haseem Aouar. Haseem Aouar, I think, is probably the best attacking midfielder we can go after right now, and he'll be amazing to have at the club. 22 years old, think about it. We can get him for around £50 million, which near enough 60 million euros, which is what Lyon wants. And he's 22 years old. He's probably in world-class form at the moment. He's way better than Donny van de Beek, I think. They play in similar positions, and I think in a few years' time his value could triple, quadruple or something, Haseem Aouar's, because he could become world-class and we can make a huge profit off of this. And I don't see why Arsenal don't see that and just pay the money. But again, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it. And the thing is, the longer we drag this on, the longer, all we're hearing is monitoring situation, talks intensifying, and they're getting closer, but they're really not. They're kind of a stalemate. And then you have to get deals done quickly, because they have to quarantine for 2 weeks. Aouar's got corona as well, so he has to quarantine in France at the moment. Then he needs to quarantine in England when he gets here, and then he needs to start training with the squad to get prepared. So think about that. The likes of Thomas Partey and Haseem Aouar won't be back until around November time. So it's a strange one, isn't it? And what I'll say about it is, Daddy Ceballos, people think, why did he not quarantine? And the reason for that is that he actually started training with Real Madrid, so he had an exemption from that because he was already started training with Real Madrid. So that was a situation with that one. But Haseem Aouar, what do you guys think in the comment section? Do you really think we'll sign him, or do you think some team like Man City will swoop in and get him at last minute? Because in my opinion, that will be too bad for us. I think we've come to the position now we have to sign him. We've spent weeks and weeks now wasting time on talking about Haseem. Not wasting time, obviously, if we sign him, but if we don't sign him, then this time is basically just wasting time speaking about Haseem Aouar, when City in a few days, in a few hours, just go and pay the money. So it's one of those, isn't it? And I think we just have to sign him now. I think there's no other way around it. And I think Arsenal love the player. If Arsenal love a player, you go and sign the player. You know what I mean? We're Arsenal Football Club. We're not Barnet, where we're just dreaming about players and not actually signing them. You know what I mean? And it's just a weird one. And I can't believe I wasted 5.5 minutes talking about this. But yeah, that is the news, that talks have been intensifying over Haseem Aouar. Personal terms have said to be agreed, but I did say that a few weeks ago, didn't I? So it's a strange one. So yeah, that is the news, that Haseem Aouar has been linked to Arsenal once again, and talks are said to be intensifying. Before we get into the next piece of news, Arsenal did play Aston Villa in the pre-season friendly yesterday. If you haven't seen my full video, now you can check the last video on my channel. That video's done really well, 50,000 views. Thank you guys so much for that. Right now, as of now, it's 50,000 views, but it could be more later, who knows. And if you didn't know, we did lose 3-2 to them. Douglas Luiz scored a goal. Douglas Luiz scored a goal for Aston Villa, and Jacob Ramsey, a youngster for Aston Villa, scored a brace. And for Arsenal, yeah, Emre Aubameyang actually scored a brace as well. It looked like quite a strong team, as Willian made his debut. I'm pretty sure Salah Eddin made his debut, and Mesut Ozil was actually featuring in the squad. So yeah, that Arsenal have actually lost to Aston Villa in the pre-season friendly. Check the full video out and my thoughts on that in the last video in the channel. Next bit of news is on Thomas Partey. We are talking about these two once again, aren't we? But apparently the report is that Thomas Partey to Arsenal remains an ongoing transfer saga. Mikel Arteta would love to sign the Atletico Madrid star, but we have to sell before we can buy. And let's have a look at the news related to this today. And that is, apparently 2 players have been offered in exchange for Thomas Partey that has been both rejected by Atletico Madrid. Transfer expert Fabrizio Romano has claimed Arsenal proposed using Alexandre Lacazette and Matteo Guendouzi in a swap deal for Partey. For sure, they spoke with Atletico Madrid. It was during the meeting they had for Thomas. The first time it was in July. They spoke about Guendouzi and they also spoke about Lacazette. But at the moment, Atleti weren't going after Lacazette. We'll have to wait a bit and see what happens with the situation. It will also depend on what will happen to other clubs. If Atletico Madrid will sell, example, Diego Costa, what will happen with Luis Suarez. And the Gunners are confident that they will sign Partey from Atletico Madrid because of recent transfer developments. Bleach report says Gunners are sure they'll land the Ghana international because a raft of sales are planning to take place. So Kratos is likely to join Napoli, and Henrik Mkhitaryan is now off the books. Lucas Torreira looks set to join Fiorentina, and Arsenal could set to cash in on Alexandre Lacazette to another club as well. Now, we have spoken about Thomas Partey so many times now. We did speak about the Guendouzi bid that was made, but Lacazette, I didn't really mention Lacazette. So those 2 bids involving Guendouzi and Lacazette have been previously rejected by Atletico Madrid. Now, what I didn't get is, and what I've not got is for a long time, if Atleti want Lacazette, why can't we do some sort of swap? I think the reason why they're not going to do a swap is because they still want to keep a hold of Thomas Partey, and maybe at the end of the transfer window, if we don't get him done this summer, I think he will sign a new contract to stay on Atletico Madrid. But what he said is, what my understanding is, he will join Arsenal, no one else this summer. So Arsenal just have to get this one done. A bit of a report linking Haseem Aouar and Thomas Partey together is the fact that Arsenal probably would like to go after Haseem Aouar first before Thomas Partey. Is because if we go after Thomas Partey and we pay 50 million up front, straight up cash, and that would just go, Leon would just say, well, you just pay 50 million straight up for Thomas Partey. We want more for Haseem Aouar. You lose your bargaining power. So I think what Arsenal are trying to do here, they're trying to go after Haseem Aouar first, get that deal done. Whatever way they're trying to haggle the deal out of Leon, I don't know, but they're trying to do something like that. They have good relationships, Leon with Arsenal. I've said that many times before. Lacazette deal got done like that, and their president is Brazilian, Junior. Good links with Edu, so that is a big positive for us, and I think that will drive the talks a lot. And there have been positive talks with Haseem over the agent as well, so that's good as well. But going back to Thomas Partey, the 2 bids have been rejected, and I think what's the stance at the moment, and what's been the stance for a long time, is that release clause or nothing, release clause or nothing, release clause or nothing. Either the 50 million euros or nothing, 50 million euros or nothing. I can stand here and say that all day, but what I'm trying to say is that that is the stance. Atletico Madrid will not move from the stance because they believe if they if they get past this transfer window without letting go of Thomas Partey, then they can get him signed a new contract. And if he signs a new contract, then the release clause will be doubled, probably to 80-90 million euros, and then we're easily priced out to move at that point. So it's a very hard one with Thomas Partey again, because how do we go after it? Do we go after Haseem Aouar first, because we have to actually negotiate with Lyon? Because the thing is, if we have the money, we don't actually have to negotiate with Atleti, we just have to wire the money and get the player to go to a medical, because Thomas Partey already wants to move to Arsenal, so personal terms will not be an issue at all. Maybe a slight issue because he does want around 200 grand a week, but if we get rid of lots of players, their huge wages are already off the books, so I don't think this will matter too much. I don't think, if we do get the other players off the books first before we go after this one. So Thomas Partey, that is the news, that we have offered 2 players and 2 bids have been rejected by Atletico Madrid. The stance is clear: 50 million euro or nothing. Next piece of news is on Benrahma. Now, I thought when we first got linked to this player, it wasn't really true. It was a bit of a fake story, but talks are actually intensifying, and Arsenal do remain the favourites to actually sign the 25 million rated star from Brentford, Benrahma. And we have been, we have got a bit of a boost on the situation, because Brentford are set to lower their price a bit to around 20 to 22 million pounds, and West Ham, who are another club who are in the race, are now out of the race because they were going to try and let go of Felipe Anderson to try and get a move done for Benrahma. But they even actually tried getting Felipe Anderson off on loan. They were also offered to us. That's sort of died down, hasn't it? And Fabrizio Romano also confirmed that Arsenal have been offered Felipe Anderson, but it doesn't mean, when you're offered a player, it doesn't mean you're going to sign him. Some people don't understand that, because agents of these players like Felipe Anderson, they go around loads and loads of clubs asking, do you want the player? That's basically what it is. Agents are going to these clubs saying, do you want Felipe Anderson on loan for 5 million? Arsenal probably turned around and said, no, we don't want him. And that's basically the end of Felipe Anderson. And Benrahma, they're similar players, aren't they? They really are quite similar players, and pretty sure Benrahma is just a younger version of Felipe Anderson. But Benrahma, I do rate him, but can he do it in the Premier League? Some players, they can rip it up in the Championship, but they can't perform it at the highest level. I will go to say that Martinelli is probably better than him, even though they are quite different players. In terms of Benrahma is more of a skillful player, and Martinelli is more of like a pace player. But again, I don't think we need him. We really don't. Left hand side, Saka can play there. Martinelli, Willian. Right hand side, Willian can also play on the right. Nelson, Pepe down the middle. Aubameyang, Aubameyang can play on the left, and Nketiah also down the middle, and Nketiah can also play on the right. So we've got a lot of players in those wing positions. I think we just have to focus on that midfield position. But Benrahma, would you guys take him? I'm not too sure about this one. I did say a few days ago when we were first linked to him that I wouldn't mind it, but we have to focus on our other targets more, so I'll sort of put this on hold for now. So that is it for today's Arsenal Transfer News Daily. Hopefully today's video sort of helped you understand the situation we're at with Aouar and Partey. That was the main focus of the video. There's no actual news in terms of right now, because there isn't much. And please listen to the announcement at the start of the video suggesting that the videos won't be as consistent anymore. They won't be daily, so now I'll be calling them Arsenal transfer updates. So I'll be going over all the news up to that point, and hopefully you guys do like that format a bit more, because we'll be bringing out Premier League predictions. Also, we'll be bringing out Arsenal match previews for the Fulham game next week, and maybe towards October and November we could be bringing out our Arsenal FIFA 21 career mode. So stay tuned to all of that. If you got any more ideas, please leave it in the comment section down below. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.
I'm on my own, broken and alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even